I'm Mike Watkis. Once she was homeless, drug addicted, even shot in a drive-by shooting. But today a Valley woman named Brenda Combs, one of the most respected school teachers in this country. Homeless to hero. One woman's extraordinary journey coming up. Good evening, Arizona.
Well, story time in one Valley classroom isn't your typical fare.
So on top of being homeless, on top of being shot in a drive-by shooting, and on top of being hit by a car, I was also dealing with drugs.
That's because this teacher hasn't led a typical life. Her story in just 5 minutes. You know, a lot of people who dedicate themselves to the education of our children are among society's unsung heroes. And that couldn't be more true than for a woman who went from homeless to hero. Tonight, Mike Watkis has the story of a teacher whose contributions go well beyond the classroom. Mike?
Yeah, right you are, Patty. Homeless, drug addicted, once shot in a drive-by shooting. Let's face it, those are not exactly the kinds of things you would ordinarily expect to find on a school teacher's resume. But as you're about to see, a Valley woman by the name of Brenda Combs is no ordinary teacher.
I mean, I know what it's like not to have shoes and not to have clothes.
Baby, there ain't no mountain high enough.
Now I have some shirts. You need a shirt? Each individual has the ability to make a difference in someone's life.
Ain't no valley low enough.
That's a real remarkable person to have that caring concern for people that's out here homeless.
You hear the saying the streets are mean and vicious. That's an understatement.
Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you.
And making a difference in someone's life will eventually make a difference in the world.
If one person can really change the world, then Valley resident Brenda Combs just might be that person.
Because you are capable of greatness. You are capable of achieving all of your dreams and your goals.
Brenda is a spectacular person.
She's a teacher now, helping other students to stay off the street and achieve their dreams.
Today I wanted to talk to you about life choices.
Indeed, today 44-year-old Brenda Combs is a nationally recognized teacher at Phoenix's Starshine Academy, recently inducted into the who's who among America's teachers.
I think this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. Michael, what did you say, corn?
But long before this hardworking single mom found what she says is her calling in the classroom, she found herself drug addicted and homeless on some of the meanest streets here in the Valley.
Started hanging out with the wrong crowd, which was pretty much everything my parents told me not to do. Basically, Van Buren was really where I was just homeless.
And for Brenda, the harsh reality of the streets, a long way from her hard-working, middle-class upbringing in Flagstaff. A journey that Brenda says was fueled by drugs and lots of very bad choices.
I've been there. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to be abused. I know what it's like to be incarcerated. I mean, I've lived that life.
A life that Brenda says flashed before her eyes one day when she was hit in a drive-by shooting.
And I see these guns coming out of the window, and they were actually shooting at the guy that I was talking to. They weren't looking for me. And he grabbed me and fell on me, and they started shooting at the ground. And that's how I got shot.
And you got shot in the ankle?
Yeah, took out my ankle joint.
Despite a terrible wound to her ankle, Brenda, who had been in and out of jail, returned once again to the streets. That is until her moment of truth. The morning Brenda says she woke up in an alley and someone had stolen the shoes off her feet.
When I woke up that day without shoes on, it was horrible. By the time I got to that point, I had overdosed, I had contemplated suicide. You know, I just didn't think that I could get out of that situation.
But this time, Brenda did make it. She checked into a halfway house and began fighting to regain her life. She married, and 7 years ago, she had a beautiful little boy by the name of Michael, and her challenges continued.
My son had a stroke at birth, and so that caused a lot of stress, and things did not work out with my husband. So when my baby was about 3 years old, I filed for divorce. It's been a long journey, and it's been difficult. I'd probably say the hardest part is working the 2 or 3 jobs. That's probably the hardest part of it.
But now, after nearly a decade of working multiple jobs while getting a college education, Brenda Combs says she now has much more than just a job. She has a life and a calling. A calling as a much-loved teacher at her charter school, and a life inspiring children facing daunting challenges of their own.
She inspired me a lot. How so? Like, because me, myself, I have family members that are in drugs right now. She's made me think about drugs and, you know, like, oh no, I don't want to go down that path.
Maybe I don't have the best parents. I don't live in the best neighborhood. I'm not able to wear the best clothes. I don't have a lot of money. But in spite of all of those things, I'm a good person, and I'm not going to let anything or anybody stop me from being the best me that I can be.
And this extraordinary woman never forgetting the lessons of her life, frequently returning to the streets with her son Michael, members of her church, and whatever she can scrounge together, dispensing a little love and trying, she says, to change the world one life at a time.
Whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to be, it's up to you. Make the right choice.
You can see Patty making good choices, a big part of her lesson plan for her students. Brenda's plans now to get a PhD. She and her son, who has some developmental difficulties because of that stroke at birth, doing very well, but she is still working multiple jobs, getting what she can, and she still goes out in the streets and shares it with the people she still considers her family, her friends, out there on the mean streets of the valley.
Mike, what a beautiful story, and what a beautiful lady.
Yeah, we'll try to keep track of her. I'm very fond of her now. We'll let you know what's next.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Thank you very much.